World War II. Let's talk about some wacky stories from it. Aimo Alan Koivunen was a Finnish soldier assigned to a ski patrol on the 20th of April, 1944, along with several other Finnish soldiers. 3 days into their mission, the group was attacked and surrounded by Soviet forces, from which they managed to escape. Koivunen became fatigued after skiing for a long distance, but could not stop, because, the gulag did not sound like a fun time. He was also the sole carrier of the army-issued pervitin, also called something that will get this video demonetized. But remember, it was initially used by the Germans because it made their soldiers go zoom to Paris. And they just kind of ignored the side effects. Koivunen, fumbling around and already high on adrenaline, just ended up downing the entire bottle. He had a short yet large burst of energy, but then entered into a state of delirium and lost consciousness. Koivunen remembered waking up the following morning, separated from his patrol and having no supplies. The following days, he escaped Soviet forces once again, was injured by a landmine which also set fire to a nearby Russian camp, and laid in a ditch for a week waiting for help. Having skied more than 400 kilometers or about 250 miles, he was found and admitted to a nearby hospital, where his heart rate was measured at 200 beats per minute, triple the average human heartbeat, and weighing only 43 kilograms or 95 pounds. In the week Koivunen was gone, he subsisted on only pine buds and a single Siberian jay that he caught and ate raw. But the Finns are made of tough stuff, and he ended up surviving and died peacefully at the age of 71. Now, before we continue, I want to shout out today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. I love this game so much that I'm once again teaming up with them. Raid has been making waves for bringing a console-level gaming experience straight to mobile phones, and set such a high bar, there is not any going back. You can explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 600 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your dream team, develop your champions, and raid your way. Here's some of the champions I have been using. Here you got Norog, a big spiky boy. He's all about shutting down active skills and buffs. His default attack has a nasty block active skills debuff on it. He also reduces damage to the whole team with his passive, and ignores a lot of control effects, a great balance to a lot of teams. Then we have Bellinor, who has one job: hit one guy as hard as he possibly can, then hide. Fantastic for clan bosses, and especially the Spider Den. He's able to put out a decreased defense and weaken on a 3-turn cooldown. This is the best time to get started in Raid. And if you click on the link in my description, or scan my QR code here on the screen, you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $30. We are talking a free epic champion, Fergus, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here. Thanks once again to Raid for sponsoring this video. The story of Richard Sorge was also pretty wild. Richard was a German guy born in Baku in 1895, which was a part of the Russian Empire at the time. After his family moved back to Germany, he had enlisted in the German army just in time for the trenches. He started the war an avowed right-wing nationalist, then lost 3 fingers and gained a lifelong limp due to shrapnel, which kinda made him reevaluate things, and become an avowed communist. Too injured to fight, he went to college and got a PhD. In that time, he moved to Russia for a bit and got recruited by Soviet intelligence, who then sent him to Berlin under the guise of a journalist. There, he put on a good show of supporting the you-know-who party. In fact, he was actually known to at several times even be critical of them, and would also get very drunk. Stuff a spy would logically not do, which made German leadership trust him even more. He was just that much of a Chad. He gets sent to Japan to be the Tokyo correspondent of one of Germany's largest newspapers. But his real goal was actually to find intel, seeing if Japan wanted to invade the Soviet Union or not. He got pretty close to the German military attaché in Tokyo named Eugene Ott, where he essentially became his number 2 man. In fact, Ott trusted him so much that he let Sorge proofread all of his diplomatic cables to Berlin, which Sorge would then just send to the Soviets. Sorge was such an important asset that Ott basically turned a blind eye to him having an affair with his wife, calling Sorge, quote, the irresistible. As a part of getting to read Ott's communication cables, Sorge eventually saw that Germany was going to invade the Soviet Union, to which Stalin saw the report and was like, nah, they totally won't. The Soviets did listen to him on some things at least, like when he told them that the Japanese would not invade the Soviet Union, which the Soviets took into account for their military planning. Eventually, Sorge's clock ran out, and he was arrested. And I am not even joking, he spent his last night as a free man with Ott's wife. But the Japanese did not execute him, and decided it would be better if they held on to him and used him as a bargaining chip with the Soviets. Except, whenever the Japanese attempted to trade him, the Soviets just refused, saying, quote, "The man called Richard Sorge is unknown to us," end quote. Why? Because Stalin was an insecure little guy who didn't want anyone who knew about him failing to act on the intelligence, saying Germany was going to invade, to be alive. Stalin even went as far as sending Sorge's ex-wife to the Gulag. So eventually in 1944, the Japanese got tired and hanged him. But in the 1960s, Khrushchev posthumously named him Hero of the Soviet Union. So that is cool for him, I guess. In May 1945, in the Netherlands, an art dealer named Han van Meegeren was arrested and charged with selling a Vermeer painting to Hermann Göring. This was deemed severe enough collaboration to carry a capital sentence. But van Meegeren was wise to confess to a lesser, but no less remarkable crime. He claimed the work in question was actually a forgery, and that he had forged it along with other Vermeers that art appraisers had deemed genuine. Before World War II, van Meegeren was an aspiring artist who disliked modern art and was frustrated by being ignored, began forging paintings to mock the art establishment while securing that bag. After his first forgery was declared a genuine Vermeer and sold for millions, van Meegeren created more. By 1943, he had earned the equivalent of $60 million. One of his paintings was sold to Hermann Göring via a dealer, who implicated van Meegeren after the work was recovered with other Nazi art. The court dismissed the collaboration charge and convicted him of forgery. The Dutch still are not savages and sentenced him to 1 year in jail. While van Meegeren's attorneys appealed, the forger died of a heart attack in December 1947.